Good afternoon guys and welcome to Thirsty Thursday. My name is Claire Manning from Thirsty Brush and I'm going to show you a card making video today, hopefully with a bit of a difference, and it's something that I haven't tried before, but it came to me last night when I was lying in bed thinking of ideas for today's video. So let's give it a go and see if it works. I'm going to use one big stamp for the main part of the card. So I'm going to use the Wildflowers stamp, which is one of my favourites from the releases last year. And I'm going to stamp it onto some navy card. And I've just been thinking about colours. So it's going to have a combination of ink and embossing powder. So this is the gold embossing powder, and I was trying to think of an ink that would kind of, I haven't got like a metallic ink or anything like that. I didn't want anything too shiny to fight. So I'm going to try it with this Distress Oxide in the Antique Linen and hope that goes. What I did want to just test before I start on a scrap piece is that this ink shows up, even if just a little bit. Yeah, that's fine, that's enough. Luckily these oxide ones have got some dye which soaks nicely into your card, but it has also got some pigment which gives you that ability to do lighter shades on darker cards as well. So you're still getting a bit of the blue there, but that's fine. You'll see from the technique and the design hopefully that that's all we need. So I hope you're all well anyway, and it's a beautiful sunny day here in Birmingham in the UK. If you're watching from anywhere else in the world, I hope you've got a nice weather day yourselves. I think we've got a couple of days nice weather coming up, and then it's going to go really cold again for the Easter weekend, so boo. But never mind, we'll make the most of it while it's here, shall we? So what I'm going to do is put my card up right to the corner, because I'm going to need to stamp this a couple of times and I want to make sure it's in the same place. So this is a 5x7 piece of card and a 5x7 style stamp. So that should fit perfectly. I can leave the stamp then in place and know that when I put the card up to that corner, it's going to be in the same place. But actually this stamp is really forgiving, these kind of solid ones. Oh, the squeaky Eureka is back. So as long as you've got a stamping tool to be able to put your piece of card back in the same place, or even when you're making multiples. So I'm going to cover the whole stamp in this antique linen. Might need a couple of stamps to get it fairly even. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. So it's starting to come forward, but obviously because we're using a light colour on a dark, like I say, you might want to do a couple of goes. I mean, I think that looks beautiful as it is. But do it as deep as you want. Don't worry if you haven't got this stamp or these colours, you could do this effect with loads of different things. Right, so I think I'm going to leave the background like that. Let's clean my stamp off. I'm going to leave it in place on the stamping tool though. Just clean it off because we'll need it for some heat embossing later. So by keeping that in place there, God, it's very squeaky today, and knowing when I butt the card right up to the corner, it's going to be in the exact same place. Okay. So pop that aside for now. And I need to dry this off before we go on to any other stage of this design where I'm going to add embossing powder and kind of mask off parts of it. It needs to be super, super dry, otherwise I'm just going to be lifting some of it off or my powder's going to stick where I don't want it. So I'm just going to run my heat gun over that now. Okay, so that's super, super dry now. I did it with the heat gun and I've kind of left it for a few minutes as well, because what I'm going to do now is add on some stripes of washi tape. So it's kind of masking off parts of the design. And then the idea is once we go over again with the stamp, and on the second time we'll use embossing powder, you'll have shiny areas and you'll have inked areas. So I'm doing about 1/2 centimetre gaps, and the washi tape is about, I don't know, 3 or 4 mil, something like that. You can use it with, you can do this with wider ones, you'll just have wider stripes. This isn't the best washi tape in the world, it keeps breaking on me. So I know a lot of you ask about my dog Horse, and I was saying the other day on Sunday's video that he's not doing too well with his allergies at the moment. So just to let you know, he's snoozing in the sunshine right now. He's had some Piriton today, he's not doing too bad. So we will be taking him to the vets for some allergy testing next week, hopefully. And how about jabs? How's everybody doing? So I had mine a couple of weeks ago now, or a week and a bit ago. Dean had his yesterday, but he's not feeling too good after his. And Kate, my daughter, she has very mild asthma, so she'll be having hers soon as well. So how's everybody doing? You all, everybody who's due theirs, have you had it or got it booked? Seem to be really, I know there's been some supply issues, so I'm just trimming off the edge there now. Do my stripes, but they still seem to be blasting through, don't they? Okay. Oh. He's still asleep, he's just laying on his duck thing, which is what that quack was. So let's bring back the stamping tool and pop it in. So make sure you get it the right way up. So this big leaf is in the top right. So, and we know that if we butt it right up to the corner, that will be fine. Let's get some anti-static, just to make sure it doesn't end up a total mess. And then I'll go in with my embossing ink pad all over that stamp again. But of course it's only going to actually go on our card, excuse me, through the gaps. So I'll go in with a couple of goes. What will be really cute as well is that when you use large stamps like this with embossing powders, unless you go over it again and again and again, it can be difficult to get like a complete solid shiny metallic image. But with that distress ink sitting behind, it's not just going to be the blank card behind it. You're going to have a bit of the ink showing through too, if there are any areas where it's there isn't as much powder. So hopefully that will give a nice effect. So let's grab some scrap to catch the excess gold I'm going to use Gold Digger, but use whatever colour you want. I'd just say try and tone it if you can. So if you're using the coloured glitter powders, for example, the blues, the greens or the pinks, then we can dry that off and see. You can always go in for a second stamp if we need to. So let's dry that off. Okay, so that's all set. So I could, this is what I was saying about the ink showing through. I could go back in and do another stamp and get these as clear and shiny as this at the top. It's probably just where I haven't pressed down as much, but actually I like where it's just kind of caught the tips. So I'm going to go with that. But if you want a more solid look, then go for it and just go pop it back in the same place again, butt it up to the corner, and it's going to allow you to do another layer. As long as you dry in between layers of embossing powder, you can technically do as many as you want. So now I'm just peeling back the washi tapes, and we should get this lovely stripe. Oops, oh no, what's that? Hope I can repair that. I just went a bit gung-ho there and it's pulled off a bit of, I can repair that, no problem, or I can put my sentiment over it. So let's be more careful now. So you get this lovely striped effect of the gold and the antique linen. So just slowly peeling back. Got that kind of like rusticy feel to it, which I really like. So it gives it quite an interesting look, doesn't it? Something a little bit different. So the sentiment on there, I'm going to heat emboss as well. So I'm going to use from this lovely sentiment set, but I'm not going to use the dies. I'm going to heat emboss over and show you that even if you've got some heat embossing on your card, you can still go in and do more. Like I say, technically, as long as all your layers are dry in between, you can heat emboss as much as you like. You can change colours. You could put clear over and glazes and things like that. So this time I'm going to heat emboss in white. Don't worry about the black on that stamp. I'm going to scrub it again, but I think it was one of those ones that stains your stamp a little bit. Oh, I've managed to get it off. Okay, so I'm going to go white this time for the sentiment, and I'm going to attempt it to cover that little bit where the paper peeled off as well. So we've got 2 in 1. So this should be like quite a nice tonal card. I'll keep that sentiment there in place just in case I want to go in and make it even bolder. And I've got my white powder now. So yeah, it's pretty solid, but I'm going to go in with another go just to make that hello really, really vibrant and solid. So we've got that lovely bold hello on there now. I think we're ready to pop it on a card and then just add some finishing touches. So I've got a 5x7 card blank. And I'm going to add on a few Nouveau drops maybe. If you saw my video the other day, I did some stenciling with Nouveau drops. There's a bit of a change. And what I like about this card, I think, is that very often we do black as a bring it together colour with a, you know, a matte layer or a sentiment and things like that. And this card, because it's a dark card, it's kind of the opposite to that. So we've got the white around the edge as our border and the white sentiment. So I think that works really well for a change. So I've got these vintage Nouveau drops, which are kind of matte ones. This is Bonnie Blue. So I'm just going to add just some very simple little drops. In and around the sentiment. They're kind of self-leveling, so don't worry if they're not super flat when you first put them down. They take a little while to dry, but then they do kind of level off themselves. And you can do some big ones and some small ones. You could even do some of these little berries up here. Let's do some of those as well. I hope it doesn't look too much, but why not? Maybe add some to the center of the flowers. I might make these ones that are around the sentiment just a little bit bigger, just so they distinguish a little bit from those ones that are the berries. So they will flatten out and level off a bit as well. Okay, but a really nice kind of textured card, something a little bit different and some different techniques to try. So do have a go with that with the stripes. Let me know what you think and maybe try some different colour combinations. And I will see you on Sunday at 1 p.m. for our next show.